What's up everyone and welcome to Ola Testing Shit. Today I'm trying out the Nux MG50Li. I'm starting to feel that it's kind of tough to stay updated with all these modelers that come out of China right now. And I mean, Nux have been doing this for a long time. Now they have the MG50Li, which not only is a modeler, it's also a profiler, just like, you know, you can profile stuff on your quad cortex or your Kemper. And, you know, Line 6 has also a kind of a deal like that now as well. The difference between the established brands like Line 6 and Neural DSP and Kemper compared to these Chinese brands is obviously going to be the price. So I'm going to start off by saying that this modeler profiler right here, the MG50, is 429 euros, which is not a lot for a full-fledged modeler. And even before I've even played a single note, I think that's the winner right there for the Chinese modelers and the Nux MG50Li. It's like half the price of some of these other modelers out there. Nux called the MG50Li their flagship of all their modelers. It's a fusion between what they call two core technologies, the TSAC 4K white box physical modeling amps and deep image profiling amp models. This modeling is now apparently twice as intricate as on previous models. Whatever that means, I don't know. The MG50 has 3 dedicated DSPs, one for effects, one for amp modeling, and a third for split amp simulation. So basically using 2 amplifiers at the same time. So with this they have, you know, the TSAC 4K white box amplifiers, and how many are these? Plenty. And then you have the deep image amplifiers, which are the captures that you make on the MG50. So you have the built-in amplifiers, which are called like the white box, and then you have the imprints of amplifiers basically. The cabinet section is now called Cyber Impulse Response. It's just like on the other modelers where you can switch microphones and you can move, you know, microphones back and forth and side to side and shit like that. But they call it Cyber, okay? And with so many of the other modelers out there today, you connect the unit using USB into your computer, and you're using the Nux Audio Editor to edit your presets, edit the function, and all that. But when you want to do your own images, you use a separate app called the Nux Image. The Nux Image app will basically walk you through the whole process of making a capture. I will make one later in this video. But for starters, let's chug for a little bit. See? It can chug too. So in the app, it's fairly easy to use. You have the signal path right here, and then you edit everything down here. It's very, very simple. It looks very much like, you know, the fractal audio editor or something like that, but simplified, I would say. So this particular preset is very simple. It starts with a gate right there. You have the amp, which is actually one of my inputs of a chug pedal. And then I have a send, and that send is a send on the actual unit going into my power amplifying cabinet. And then I have one of my own impulse responses that I've used to create this preset. So what you're hearing right now is the MG50Li, this preset, going direct into my audio interface. So I made this preset just like I would with any unit that I would be able to use live, is that I have the direct sound going to a front of house, but this send right here sends the signal from the actual unit into a power amplifying cabinet, basically giving myself options for, or giving the front of house guy options for the type of sound going live. This is the mic tone right there. There's a microphone right there. pretty okay. So check this out. I'm actually switching between two different presets right here. There is no gap in between the preset changing. How about that? Which is very, very cool. I appreciate that. So what I really wanted to try out for this test was the capability of capturing whatever I wanted to use, like an amplifier or you know, stomp box or anything like that. So let me show you the image making, or the deep image making, where I capture an amplifier or a pedal or something like that, and you know, show you how easy that is. So first of all, you need to connect your piece of equipment in the right manner. So right here I'm using the Send 1 and 2. The Send 1 goes into my chug pedal right here, and then it goes back to the return of the unit. Also worth mentioning is that you can load in your NAM profiles with this, you know, neural amp modeling as well. So very cool. That's also becoming very, very popular nowadays, that you can load in neural amp models, which is basically like open source models, I would say. Since we're using the chug pedal only without an impulse response, it's gonna sound like this. Basically like distortion without an impulse response. It sounds kind of harsh. Anyways, let's just go. And then we wait until it's done. All right, so we're done. I've added an impulse response post, so you guys don't have to listen to this really harsh sound. But here's the model. And then I'm switching to the reference, and I'll go back and forth, okay? So reference, this is the chug pedal. So what I notice immediately is that on the actual model, you know, the capture, the deep image, I'm not having as much gain, but this is something I can compensate with later on as it's loaded into the device. But see, there's more gain here. But other than that, it's fairly spot on, I must say. So load into device. Call this chug test. Like that. Loaded successfully. Then I can just close the Nux Image app and head straight into the controller app of the MG50. Now I have to do this like that. Disconnect that. And then I can use that mall in my preset. So let me bring back the gain. I don't know, for some reason it changed to not my my impulse response. Here's my impulse response. I mean, even though it's not completely the same, you know, it's in the ballpark. And then you can compensate with different EQs or adding more gain and so on and so forth. So, all right, let me try out a couple of different presets then. Taylor, is that Taylor Danley? Oh yeah. Chungus. I'm guessing this is Taylor Danley, if anyone. More Chungus, let's go. So there's already all these amplifiers and images in this unit already as you purchase it, which is you know, it's a great start at least. Also, something you can do is that you can have a dual signal shade if you want, where you can have different outputs, or if you want to join them together back again. So if you want to use two amplifiers and mix them into one, you can use this, for instance. So it's, you know, there's a lot you can do. It's not just this one signal path. You can still route in a completely different way. I wouldn't say it's as flexible as a quad cortex or, you know, the Helix, but it's getting pretty close. So overall, I feel like this is, yeah, it's a great product. I mean, like I said, it's not as capable as the bigger, more established brands and units, but it really gets a long way for a way lower price. The effects, I mean, some of them, I was looking at like the phaser, for instance, doesn't really have any parameters to it like I would. You know, with the phaser, I want something else more than just the speed parameter. So the effects are still a little bit lackluster in that sense. There are a lot of effects, don't get me wrong. It's just that some of the you want more parameters, at least I would. But the amplifiers, you're getting a lot to pick and choose from. Same with the impulse responses and the cabinets. The buttons themselves feel really responsive. The expression pedal feels great, and it also has a looper on it, but I know I'm not good with loopers, so I'm not going to try and demonstrate that. You have a tuner, so if you click here, you get the tuner. Nothing weird. Actually, good looking tuner too, I must say. Also, something completely out of the blue is that it has a battery in it. A 5-hour battery, so you can actually unplug this and run it off battery for 5 hours. Let's see if I can do it like this. I just plugged out the fucking power right there. And now it's running on the battery. So who is this for? I think this could be a solution for a lot of bands or guitar players in bands out there. It's so easy to rock up to a show with something as small as this. You know, it's, yeah, I really like the form factor of this. And if you don't want to shell out the money for a quad cortex or a Kemper, I mean, this makes a lot of sense, just saying. The captures of the distortion pedal, the chug pedal, is very close, I would say. Like I said, the capture has a lack of distortion, which is very common when you try to capture high-gain stuff. But, you know, you can always compensate that afterwards in the preset. The user interface is also, you know, completely fine. It's fairly simple to work your way around this thing, even though you don't have the app on your computer. The metal casing makes it feel, you know, a lot less plasticky because it's metal, but it feels rigid in that sense, that it's made out of metal. Still not very heavy, I would say. You have a bunch of aux-ins, you have MIDI in and out. You know, you have basically all the inputs and outputs that you want. Also, I want to disclaim, Nux did send me this unit for free to try out. And so in that sense, this video is sponsored. Now, the question a lot of you guys are asking is that, am I going to change out my quad cortex solution to this? I would probably say not. Because I'm just so invested into the quad cortex right now, and I'm really liking the profiles I'm making in this thing. But as a backup unit, absolutely, I will definitely see myself be able to use something like this. So there you go. That's my little demo for you right there. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Goodbye.